Oh, right. Evening one and all. Welcome back to Titanic. More specifically, Titanic Honor and Glory Demo 401. Tonight we'll be touring the ship just as a way of kind of honoring the memory of the 1,500 lives lost in the sinking of the Titanic. Titanic would hit an iceberg approximately 20 minutes from now. They would hit the iceberg at about 11:38, 11:40 ship's time, which would be approximately 7:17, 7:18 Pacific time. Or 7:38 Pacific time, rather, sorry. So I hope you guys are all well, all awesome. So yeah, we're gonna do a tour of the ship. So unfortunately, we don't have a sinking demo for you guys, and I'm not really a historian and not super well versed in the events of the evening. But however, we're gonna take a tour of the ship, and that's how we're gonna honor the 1,500 lives lost on the sinking of the Titanic. So yeah, join in the tour with me. So hope you guys are doing great. I'm doing pretty well. Just got back from the eye doctors earlier today. Had my eyes dilated, and everything seems to be kind of fine and dandy. So we're gonna do an exploration. So let's do nighttime. Actually, let's do daytime, so you guys can actually see the water. So we're gonna go in via the third class and work our way up. And I'm gonna drag somebody in here because apparently they're ignoring me completely.
Yeah.
Hi.
900 acres.
Hey.
My family.
Just so you know, you're live on candid camera. You're on the stream, buddy. I drug you up here with me. It gets all lonely and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I know.
So I shared the stream there. Hey, Mark, how's it going, bud? And why did the game crash? Yay. It failed to load.
Been watching Fly Boys. Good movie. Can't recommend enough of it. That, and I'm still trying to figure out why in the world I'm uncoupling on one of my descent curves. I was going only 1.5 miles an hour.
Okay, good. You guys can see that. Good.
Mhm.
Good. Yes. So I'm hearing they are working on the 1.5 update for Mega Demo here, which is gonna apparently include a bunch of new spaces that you can find some official information on at the Titanic Honor and Glory website. This actually is a food storage room here, potato storage. Down
Entry.
just past. Yep, just right past this Bostwick gate right here. You can get in there and break it and get all the potatoes you want. Potatoes seems to be a theme of this ship. I'll show you some of those things. So this is actually the third class here, down on E deck.
I was going to say that looked almost like a mirror.
What did?
That doorway looked almost like a mirror.
Yeah, it used to be like it had that really shiny glitch, but
No, I mean
it looks like
to your left. Other
which
left.
door?
That way. That almost looked behind you.
This way. Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
That almost looked like a mirror.
Yep. Kind of does in a weird way.
But isn't that also one of the bulkhead doors?
It is one of the bulkhead doors. It's also one of the watertight doors too.
Yep, that's what I meant. Watertights.
Bulkhead and watertight. So this is the entry to third class here on E deck. So this would be one of the gangway doors that third class passengers would come through, right here. So they come through, they get signed in, get their names written down on the logbooks and stuff like that. There'd be an officer around here somewhere signing in their names and stuff. And this right here, entrance into into second class, ironically. And that's the second class gangway door over there. I actually found out that this is a ladder they could put outside this door and bring people into or out of the ship if needed. I did not know that. I thought that this is just a weird apparatus thing, but no, it's a ladder.
A ladder?
Yeah, it's a ladder that they could actually use to put outside the door here, just hang off the door and let people climb up and down it when the situation arised. So yeah, that was kind of cool. That was a really cool thing to find out recently. So enough of this. Third class cabins. You know, I definitely need that looped Titanic music. And no, not the stuff from the James Cameron movie. I love that soundtrack, don't get me wrong, but however, for the sake of copyright, I will not use it. This is a crew compartment door. And another watertight door and bulkhead.
Mm-hmm.
They have this kind of lit, but you can't get down there, so nope. More cabins on the left and right. So how have you been doing today, sir?
Oh, I've just been sleeping on and off all day today, just trying to catch up on some
Rest?
rest. Yep.
That's all important. You know, imagine if you're Jack Dawson and you're actually trying to find your way around these cabins.
Forget about it. Better get out of GPS.
Yeah, I guess it was a maze in third class on these ships back in the day. And you also had the additional problem of very different people speaking different languages and stuff. So you had to have interpreters and stuff. And I believe they only had one interpreter on the ship for all the people. And
That just means you need to find people that can speak more than one language that's in the third class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you had a lot of different languages spoke. So, watertight bulkhead, so that would actually lead to the stern and to other third class spaces. Aft would lead to, I think, even the general room too from here.
Can you crouch on that door, by the way? Just out of curiosity.
This door?
Yeah, just crouch. Go back. Okay, so it is literally watertight. Okay. It looked like there was a gap or something.
I see a gap there. Oh boy. So this is definitely one of the cargo wells.
Oh, elevator shafts or something like that, or
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how these things worked. But I guess that these crossbeams could be removed for the transfer of cargo. But I'm not entirely certain on that. You know, I'm going to put on some of that lovely looped Titanic honor and music. Got to have a little bit of something playing in the background here.
I was planning on doing a live stream of RO, but just kind of didn't want to because I was having problems.
Here we go. Somebody pulled the soundtrack from Demo 3 and they actually captured it, so I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna use it. Hopefully they'll put it into this demo or something like that, because it was in Demo 3. So we're going to continue this way down to Scotland Road. More third-class cabins. I'm assuming these are third-class cabins anyway. They could actually very well be crew cabins too. All right, how well can you guys hear me out there in YouTube land? Oh, I am gonna actually turn the game noise down just a little bit here, because we will be going into the boiler rooms where there's a lot of noise. So approximately 10 minutes left until the iceberg. So the way they figured how ships kept time back in those days was that they didn't use like specific time zones, you know, because it was kind of impossible to adhere to specific time zones for ships. What they did do, however, is that they calculated based on the direction in which they were going. They used a method called solar noon to figure out what their present time was, and they had to reset the clocks every day based on that. That is King George V, by the way, in case nobody knows. So I tell you what, you know, he is a very dashing man. I'm not gonna lie. So this room here would be a, I believe was the engineer's lounge. I could very well be wrong, but at least it was a crew lounge of some kind. But I believe it was engineers.
Right below that one picture is a drawing diagram of the Titanic.
Yep. Absolutely. It's a cross-section deck plan.
Yep.
I love the ability to zoom in and look at stuff like that. You can almost see it very much in high detail. I think I might shut out one of these other tabs here to free up memory on the computer.
I was going to say, it almost looked like your game was about ready to crash.
I mean, as long as I'm not running anything else intensive on the computer, the game will be fine. But it mainly heavily affects my graphics card when I get up into the some of the first class accommodations, like the lounge and the smoke room in particular, the reading and writing room as well. Hey Dan, there's a monkey wrench there for you, or at least a big wrench.
I was going to say, that's not a monkey wrench, that's a wrench to close those doors.
And yes, they did have fire hoses on the ship back in those times. I'm assuming that these probably just use the method of pumping seawater. So this door here would lead, I believe, to the engine rooms. Both of these sets of double doors here. That's watertight, and that. So what's actually interesting is that this here was actually a crew gangway door. So ship's crew would actually go into the ship directly through this door.
I'm surprised there's no ladder above, even though there's hooks for it.
Yeah, it does look like there are hooks for it, so there probably was. I guess I'll have to try to do some research on that. It's very amazing when you actually build something like this, even virtually, trying to get it down and accurate is a very difficult task to do.
Oh, I know.
Because then you're getting down to the nuts and the bolts of the stuff. Because you have to find out what was on the ship, who was on the ship, what kind of things they used, what kind of chairs, what fabric, carpet, wood.
If it's even findable.
Yeah. What kind of nails? So, I pointed out that this is Chief Baker. So, this is where the place where Chief Baker Jugan, who was the first class baker, or the baker for first class, this is where he would have resided. This is the guy who claims that he walked off the stern of the ship as it went down and didn't get his hair wet. Swimming, apparently. But it's also well known that he was pretty drunk that night too, so take it with a grain of salt, maybe?
Yeah, I'll take it with a grain of barley, but that's just me.
Grain of barley, yeah. Yeah, that'll work too in his case. Musicians, so they probably had the ship's bands stationed down here too. So, engineers and stewards. Storekeepers. So this is Scotland Road here. So this is where many of the third class passengers would access cabins, and primarily crew would access vital areas of the ship, such as the engine rooms, the boiler rooms, and anywhere else that they needed to go on the ship. And yeah, you can see some of the ship shear from here. That's crazy.
I'll be right back in 30 seconds.
Yep. My music died. There.
Resurrection pill.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right. Resurrection pill. Crew only. So this is boiler room 1. Locker rooms. Third class dining. So I'll take you down there and I'll show you these. So technically, the third class dining room was actually split in two. So I believe that we are actually in the forward section of the dining room. So this is typically where the single men and men traveling in groups would dine, and they were segregated from the women, children, and families that were traveling together. And the reason they did this was for safety. So where the women, children, and the families traveling together would dine is in the dining room behind me, right through here. And look at that delicious stuff on the table already. They'd have muffins, apples, Probably whatever to drink, like water, milk, or something like that.
I was gonna say that looked like a dinner roll or something.
Yeah, dinner roll. That'd have to be a dinner roll in this case, probably. So, here they got a menu. White Star Line, RMS Titanic, April 14th, 1912. So, literally the day that the ship hit an iceberg, which would be in a minute from now. So, on this menu, they had oatmeal porridge, milk smoked herrings and jacket potatoes, ham and eggs, fresh bread and butter, marmalade, Swedish bread, tea, coffee. That was their breakfast. And then dinner, they had soup rice, fresh bread, cabin biscuits, roast beef, brown gravy, nummy, sweet corn, boiled potatoes, yum yum, plum pudding, sweet sauce, fruit. And then they had cold meat, cheese, pickles, fresh bread, butter, sweet figs, and rice. So the reason we know this is because there were actually a couple of menus pulled up from the Titanic wreck site, and one of them would have been something like this. So that's how we know what they actually served on the ship. And also, you know, the evidence is very clear from other ships at the time of meals that would have been served. But let's just say the third class passengers didn't get bad meals. They actually got some pretty healthy stuff. And, hey, I'm doing a thing. I was in the table.
I've heard about being on board, but this is ridiculous.
I didn't know you could do that. Might as well call me Titanic, says RedTube TV. How are you doing, sir? Yeah, that is weird. I mean, you can't walk into the table otherwise, but you can walk through it crouching. That's what you call transphasic metamorphosis. You could do stuff like that if you crouch. And of course, you know, it's kind of funny that you saw paintings like this, and they were actually advertising ships of other lines too. Like the Holland America line, the Rotterdam to New York route. Ever since the movie, I did all kinds of research about the Titanic. The 1997 film, I'm assuming? The James Cameron one? It's actually one of my favorites as well. I mean, you know, it's funny. I saw that way back in the day, and it's only just now, I'm really increasing my interest in this particular ship. So I'm pretty much learning what I can about it. The Olympic. 45,000 tons, the largest steamers in the world. The largest steamers of their time. First class stewards. But that's really cool that you've been doing research on the Titanic as well. And apparently the game crashed again. Wow. That's awesome. Game is hating it. Game is hating my computer. Well, at least we can actually quickly get back there.
Please stand by.
Please stand by. Well, we are experiencing technical difficulties.
While we retrieve the Titanic from the outer limits.
Step into another dimension. I mean, I'd be watching the real-time syncing that they're doing tonight, but I decided to do this instead. I'll catch up on their stream later, too. So that's a fat tank room. So I'm noticing too that in this recent patch of Mega Demo, they've actually put up the nameplates for some of these rooms and stuff. Saloon Waiters 2. So for me, I've always had like this loose interest in Titanic, but it's only like within the last year or two that I've actually gained like a real interest in the subject. But I think my biggest interest is the Britannic, the Stewards Lavy. Unfortunately, you cannot go in here.
Why not? Is it blocked or something?
Quite literally, it's just an invisible wall, invisible door. You can't go in there. So I have to think. That door is access to boiler room 1. Boiler room 2. Oof. Boiler room 3.
Yeah, I noticed that. That one too.
Yeah, it's rendering. What it's doing is because I'm going into what the game thinks is first class passenger spaces, so it's rendering that. 4. Actually, no, that's 5. Sorry. This is boiler room 6.
Can you go down?
You can. Lovely steam pipes. Steam control valves. Steam release valves even. You see these on steam locomotives a lot too.
Those are safety valves.
Yep. Those are designed to pop should the boilers build up too much pressure. And there's an invisible wall here too.
Really? Wow.
Yep. Access denied. Ah, dang, I can't do any transphasic stuff through the railing there. Your sight glasses for your boilers.
Mm-hmm.
One of these things blow, you gotta shut the water off. Well, at least to those pipes, because you don't want to scald anyone alive, because that's awful. Yeah, way too dark. You can't see in there.
They need to give you a flashlight.
So from what I saw in their in the images of the latest demo update that they're doing, they'll brighten it up here significantly, and they'll give you access into the coal bunkers and into the fire crew, into the stoker spaces, and then all that stuff. And they'll actually
You can.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, this is the fireman access tunnel. They just got a wall here for temporary placement, but typically on the left and right, you would have like spiral staircases that would actually take you to and from the living quarters of the firemen and stokers.
That's
Right now,
interesting.
they just don't have that modeled into this part of the demo, but with what's coming out, they will. Get all up in that boiler. I wouldn't recommend putting your face right here, by the way, if you get up close to a boiler like this, because that's got to be a lot of hot air flowing out. And
Good
it's
for
gonna
hot
burn.
dog.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard stories of people on other ships actually, cooking their food that way. Even on steam locomotives. So it wouldn't surprise me one bit if somebody on the Titanic crew actually did that. I mean, when you have an effective stove right there. There's yeah.
It's a ladder up?
It's a ladder. Too bad you can't go out the top, but you can come up here. This thing, I believe, is like some sort of hot water tank. Would make sense.
A condenser?
Yeah, probably if it takes like hot steam and condenses it into hot water. Because the black pipe is steam exhaust. Time for some s'mores. Be melting them marshmallows in there instantly, my guy. Oh, and one more thing I wanted to show off. This is actually an access into the funnel casement right there. In Demo 3, this is actually slightly open. You can actually see them having put a creature in there.
Huh.
As an Easter egg. As an egg so Easter that it'd smack you in the face. Speaking of Easters, that's coming up this Sunday. Ooh. So Boiler Room 6 was literally one of the first rooms to, after the ship collided with the iceberg about 12 minutes ago now, to get flooded. As well as the mail hold rooms in the forepeak. The plumber's store. I assume they're talking about storage there. Petty officers lavvy. They get their own lavatory. That's interesting. Yeah. Fireman's escape. So there's a small step that would actually come up from the boiler rooms to this door. What a tight door deck plate. So it's right there. And this right here would be one of the well deck cargo hold hatches that go further down into the ship. And if I am correct,
beams do move out of the way.
Yeah, they can be removed apparently. It's my computer.
That's not how I expected them to be removed.
No, not at all. Not at all. I'd hate to do this, but if this keeps up, I might have to restart my computer because the game is not liking something.
Nope.
Wow. And I'd hate to do it during a stream. There's an error code on my motherboard. It's an A0 error code, so it's nothing. I don't know why the game is doing what it's doing. Because it wasn't doing it last night.
Hmm.
That's interesting. So I'll be checking computer stats too, because something else is not going right. I mean, otherwise this computer would normally run this game just about flawlessly. Yeah, I felt that lag.
Like hitting a brick wall.
Because, you know, the weird thing is I'm not exactly in the most demanding rooms of this game. I mean, I'm in third class, dang it. I shouldn't be, my game shouldn't be crashing.
You're pixelating on my side.
I think you might have to watch via YouTube then, if it's actually, because I can see that it's actually
It's clearing up. So once you stop moving, it clears up.
Everything seems to be fine, so I don't know what's going on with it. So this is the forward third class general room here. Maybe it's the Titanic trying to sink my computer. I haven't been talking bad about you all this time, don't worry.
You didn't hit an iceberg, you hit a heatberg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hit a heater all right. And I'm not just speeding through the game, I'm allowing the computer to try to render the game as I go along.
A water spigot?
Yeah, that's a water fountain. Available for everyone to grab a drink out of. Fresh water would just freely flow through there. And this is another one of the gangway doors. I'm not certain if this is one of the third class gangway doors or if this is a crew gangway door. So like I say, you know, I'm just learning this stuff, so I will be finding out in due course. Yeah, it says my GPU's at like 36%, so it's like bouncing up and down between 36 and 16, so it's not like it's under a lot of stress right here. Because in third class, there isn't really that much for it to have to render. One of the third class cabins right here. I think this is actually the room where 6 Chinese immigrants, one of which actually had survived the sinking, was actually located in here.
Huh.
And you can hear the audio file from the squash court, which we will be seeing later.
Oh.
Yeah, that keeps happening. That keeps happening. That's irritating.
I suggest staying away from the squash court because I think that's your problem.
I'm gonna do an actual restart on the computer, guys. I will be right back. We shall resume. Started streaming, but it seems like my upstream is wanting to be a biatch. Okay, it seems like that we are back after having to do a restart. So hopefully this might resolve the issues. If it keeps happening, I'll just have to end the stream there. All right, you with me?
Yep, I'm still here.
Okay. So I hope I'm coming in loud and clear for you guys. I need to check my mic settings too. It seems like that they're good.
It's popping a little bit, but that's on my end.
Wonder why this isn't okay. Okay. So since we've explored third class effectively, let's explore second. The class that is in between the other two classes. That doesn't get talked about often enough. Ooh, level loading is awesome.
That did not look right. You're going to crash here. Don't go out that door.
Okay. I think for the most part we are actually in pretty good shape. So this is the second class portion of ADAC Promenade. Very much interesting that they actually had basically the same kind of deck space as first class. The base of the mast. A little bit dark in there. It must be trying to render the smoke room. That's why it's pinging. Because the first class smoke lounge is just up there. So I'm like within its... Yeah. It must be that I'm running Google Earth because... Not Google Earth, but Google Chrome, which takes up a lot of resources. And I'm streaming on Discord too. The third class general room. So how am I coming across to you guys over there in YouTube land? Third class smoke room. Which actually, even for these accommodations, they look pretty nice. Oh, that FOV, that field of view. Excuse me. I had to contain that sneeze. Because I didn't want to blow my top like Mount St. Helens.
You know, it's interesting. It's 9:11 right now where I'm at. I just happened to look at the time.
Third class benches. These cranes did exist on the Britannic, however, they were moved all the way down to the well deck because in the Britannic's design, unlike Titanic, actually had a complete other deck right above our heads here, and that was specifically intended to be designed as a place for a lot of the excess lifeboats on the stern. And then that docking bridge you see there would have been raised up another level from where you see it here. So this would have been significantly changed. And also on Britannic, this well deck that you see here actually would have been completely enclosed, actually would be covered, basically providing third class passengers a shade deck. So even by the time the Britannic came out, they would have had nice accommodations. Unfortunately, Britannic did not see the light of day as a passenger liner. World War I would have something to say about that, unfortunately.
More ways than one.
Mm-hmm. And yes, this is that place where Jack and Rose met. If you watched the 1997 movie, where she attempted to jump off the back of the ship.
At 4 stories would have been a nice splat.
And then you have the propellers directly below too. Yeah, she probably would not have come out of that mincemeat factory either.
Well, she would die on impact, hitting the water at 4 stories.
I mean, basically, if she jumped, well, she wouldn't, even if she
It
did
would
survive the
Like
impact.
hitting concrete.
Yep. And if she did survive the impact, well, you know, the cold water would be, yeah. Cold water would be just
factor
as
as well.
bad. Warping bits for docking procedures if the ship ever went to dock. Oh, and capstans are a thing too.
Yep.
Napier
that
Brothers Engineers Glasgow. Napier Brothers Limited Engineers Glasgow. Glasgow, Scotland. Pop quiz, do you know what this would have been used for?
That would have been the phone, wouldn't it?
You're correct. It would have been the phone. Except I think back in those days, some crewmen would have actually carried like a portable receiver and they'd plug it into that. And they would use it to communicate with the bridge directly.
Yeah.
So this
is this the second command? Wow.
This is basically a docking bridge.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So this bridge is only ever used when they were doing like docking maneuvers. They would have never used this out at sea. Because, well, for fairly obvious reasons, because he wouldn't be able to see anything out in front of you, barely. I mean, you just see a ship out in front of you, but not the most important things out in front of you. Can't really get a look at the compass in there. But yeah, you'd have your engine order telegraphs, and then you'd have your wheel.
Communications box. That's what it would have been called.
Communications box. So back to second class. Yes, I know, game. You just rendered the smoke lounge. Big deal.
Big deal crashes. I'll show you a big deal.
I have to admit,
ooh.
they didn't smooth out these textures.
No, I think there might be some rendering issue.
No, it is actually a bug in the demo. Because I saw Matt DeWinklier's stream of this same area too, and he had it. Matt DeWinklier is the
That's
main...
probably causing your guys' problem then on the crashing. It looks like somebody overwaxed the wood.
Yeah, they probably did. You know, got a little fresh with the ship, I guess. I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm taking it a little too far there. But having said all of that, however, this is actually probably one of my most favorite rooms on the ship, honestly.
Ooh, why is the... Turn towards that corner couch. Look how shiny it is. Holy crap.
I'd say that's the most shiny leather I've ever seen.
That's what I'm saying. I need some toner downers in here.
That's some super shiny leather. And I've seen some shiny
Somebody
leather
went
in my
aggressive
time.
with the polish.
And I've seen some shiny leather in my time, but holy crap, that is shiny. Just look at its amazing beauty and glory. Just look at its greenness and its shininess. You can practically see your own image in that.
I think this whole room has a bug in it. The walls are
it's got
still a
some
problem.
translucent walls. Spittoons, matches, glasses, the whole 9 yards, even ashtrays. And this is back in the days when roll your own cigarettes were a thing. That's just a tin of tobacco. Three lads pipe tobacco.
3 lads.
M&K Watson's 3 lads tobacco. Exquisitely mellow. Smoking will make every your pipe special. Make every one of your pipes special is what I would add. Try it once and you will stay with us forever. Cancer smokes.
Yep. The nails. Forge your own. Limited time only.
You know, my mother actually had a spittoon that looked like that. Like seriously, she had a brass spittoon. Maxwell's Exquisite Tobacco, Oriental Blend Mixture, London Original. And of course, it's got a pineapple on it. Pineapple's also another motif in this game, as you're about to see pretty soon.
Wow. This area is so shiny.
Tell you, I've never seen the walls that shiny. Call me super shiny.
Holy, what's going on with the game?
Yeah, it's doing stuff and things.
There's your problem.
Welcome, Rare Hunter. How are you doing? Good to see you in the stream. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you in the chat, I mean. Yeah, it's just texturing issues. Let's see, if I do night, then basically it doesn't show up as bad.
One can only pray.
So quit. Back to main menu. Yeah. But yeah, good to see you guys. Those of you who are new to the chat and new to the channel, welcome. I hope you guys like the content. If you feel compelled to do so, please give the video a thumbs up. It would be most appreciated. Okay, so this is way different at night.
Oh yeah.
Like they fixed the nighttime texture, but the daytime still needs work.
Needs some work. Yep.
So if you guys can hear me pretty well in the YouTube stream, just let me know. So this would be the second class lounge and library. And look at that magnificent cherry wood bookcase that they have right there.
Oh.
I mean, you could actually see that the wood finish looks like wood finish.
Yeah.
And it looks really, really good. And I know I'm on the same patch as Matt DeWinkler is, so he had the same problems with the texturing as well when I saw his stream the other day. So Matt DeWinkler, for those of you who might not know, is actually the producer, one of the main producer of Titanic: Honor and Glory. Like it coming here, and this looks like cherry wood or oak paneling, and it looks good. And this is the only second class elevator. Red Hunter Rare Hunter says, I'm an RMS Queen Mary fan, but there's nothing else more beautiful than to celebrate the 110-year anniversary of RMS Titanic. Indeed. This is kind of my way of, kind of our way of, you know, honoring the lives that were lost in the sinking of the Titanic. I don't have the, I cannot really play the sinking demo at all. But this will certainly suffice. But I'm glad you're along for the ride, along for the stream. This admittedly is probably like my most favorite dining room on the ship. I mean, I'm going to get kind of on a tangent here, but second class on Titanic is kind of like the most underrated class. You hear a lot of stuff about first class and you hear a lot about third class. You know, first and third class is the biggest thing that dominates the conversation, but you hear so little about second class, right? It's like
because of the Titanic movie.
A lot of Titanic books and a lot of other Titanic movies actually don't really talk about second class that much too, which is kind of unfortunate. But when you have people like Lawrence Beasley, who was a math teacher, he was a second class passenger, and some of the accounts that we actually have came from him, especially on the third day of sailing. You know, he noticed that the ship was listing to, I think, to port.
Was that before or after the accident?
That was way before. That was like the day before the accident. This is on the 13th.
Why would it be listing?
So the reason it was listing, so it's going to be kind of a long explanation here. So what was going on is that Titanic actually had another thing going on at the time. There was a fire in one of the coal bunkers in Boiler Room 6. And so what actually ended up happening is that they were shifting the, you know, coal from the bunker that was, quote, on fire, right? Got to think of coal fires that generally they're not like this burning, raging inferno, but it was just like a slow burn. You know how those go, you know, so they weren't a flame.
Yeah.
So basically they had to take out all of the coal from, you know, from that coal bunker and shift it over to a coal bunker on the port side of the ship. And so as a result of that, the weight of all that coal that had to be shifted from the from the starboard side to the port side actually gave it a port side list of, I think, of about 2 degrees or something like that. And so there was two eyewitness accounts. Lawrence Beasley was one of them who actually made the observation, because you have to think that he was probably a pretty well-traveled passenger, so he kind of learned to feel for stuff like that, because he was looking out and he just kind of noticed that the horizon was actually a little bit lower than what it should have been. And then there was the other thing that happened too, when a first class passenger, a lady, actually got off. They had just mopped one of the decks, so she stepped off the staircase and slipped and fell on that, because it was actually the ship was listing, so she had to go see the doctor about that. Dr. William O'Laughlin was the ship's doctor at the time, so he had to treat her for the injuries that she sustained just from that fall. But she did also note that there was a list to port as well. So you got to think, well-seasoned passengers traveling on the ship noting a list to port. And there's a pineapple. There's a pineapple. Yeah, pineapples are a thing on Titanic. But yes, this is absolutely one of my most favorite dining rooms on the ship. Sorry about the long explanation there, but I felt like that was something that had to be said.
It's relevant.
Very relevant. So, in a weird kind of way, the coal fire that they had been battling since the ship literally left Belfast, Ireland, right, did play a role in effectively saving the ship as far as it did the night of the sinking, because, you got to think that the ship got hit on the starboard side when they shifted after they shifted all of that coal over to the port side. So it did stave off some of the sinking for as long as it did. Because, ironically enough, Scotland Road is also on the Portland side, or on the port side, not Portland side. Yeah, that was a mismention. Also of note, the dining rooms would have actually been used for church services on Sunday mornings too. And there was one church service on the only Sunday morning that the ship sailed in each of the dining rooms. First, second, and third class. So this here is the second class gangway right here. Second class passengers would have come through that. This is second class purser's office here. Literally, his bed was in his room, so he didn't have to go far to go to sleep, did he?
Nope.
It seems like my computer's running it just fine. Yeah, you had a very good point, Mark. The pineapples were an exotic fruit at that time. They were exotic. And so they had to have them available on the ship. So we're going to kind of meander to first class. Because really, we've just explored all the second class spaces.
Did you see Eric's post today about the radio tower that was here in the United States?
No, I didn't.
When you get to the radio room, I'll tell you about it.
Okay.
It's actually very interesting.
I shall return in just a moment here. In the meantime, I'll treat you guys to this look. So now that I've teased you with the outside look into the Cafe Parisienne, we're gonna go and drop right on in. After we take a nice final spin around the room here. Mark says pineapples were a symbol of wealth in the past in that time period. Yeah, they pretty much were. You know, they were an exotic fruit. And so basically, you know, people that could only afford them could eat them. Looking into the a la carte restaurant there. So this is actually meant to resemble a sidewalk cafe in Paris. Hence the name Cafe Parisienne. By the way, I like how they have the windows open, so that's why you're getting that wind effect. Have you, so Rare Hunter says, have you ever heard of the nurses who have survived the disaster of the Olympic, the Titanic, and the Britannic? Yes. One of them is Violet Jessup. Violet Jessup was actually on the Olympic when it got effectively rear into its incident with the HMS Hawk. She was on the Titanic as a stewardess when it went down. And she was on Britannic when it hit the mine and went down. Talk about coincidence. I mean, I don't believe in coincidence in the strictest sense, but for lack of better words, talk about something very interesting there.
Well, I was going to say that's dumb luck. And the fact that she was in the right spot at the right time.
Yeah.
That she managed to actually survive all three.
Mm-hmm. The Olympic didn't sink. Titanic did sink. Britannic also sank. But something to note that she said that was actually very interesting was that, you know, the sinking of the Britannic was her worst experience, and here's the reason why. So, you know about the two lifeboats that actually got chewed up in the propellers that were still spinning, because Captain Bartlett didn't know that his crew had actually been offloading the lifeboats off the ship while he was trying to drive it towards land. And I could see why he did. Because he had not actually given the official orders to lower the lifeboats filled with passengers. People in that time, we're talking about Titanic being a hospital ship. So he later would find out what was going on. But Violet Jessup was actually in one of the lifeboats that got chopped up by the propellers. And she had to jump out just in time to actually avoid getting, minced by the propellers. Absolutely insane stuff. And that's why she equates it to being the worst experience. Never mind that a couple of years prior, she was on the Titanic when it went down. She saw everything. She saw the split, everything, But the Titanic, she equated to her worst experience. She literally came close to death, with that propeller. So it's a very interesting thing there that, I think she kind of gave an interview back in the 40s or 50s, kind of recounting those experiences. So we're in the a la carte restaurant here. And this, so the meals served here you had to pay for them separately. They were not included in the price of the ticket, as with the meals in, say, the first class dining room. But basically, you came in, you walked in, you came up to the podium here, you made your reservation, you reserved a table, then you got escorted to a table, you sat down, then you were presented a menu. Basically, this is like the equivalent of an onboard 5-star restaurant. This particular establishment was run by a man named Luigi Gotti, who was the general manager of an Italian restaurant in London. I love these wall sconces. Can't take that away from me. Wall sconces.
Sure, I could.
I agree with that.
Sure, I
too.
could. Just take your computer down again.
If you give me one of those wall sconces, I'm not going to argue. I agree with that too, Rare. I agree with that too, Rare Hunter. I think that God did have a hand in saving her for sure. So this is I'm not going to spend that much time in here because this is a room that people have seen a million times over. That's interesting. It looks like that there would be a door right here. I mean, I don't see any outlines or hinging, but it is interesting that it kind of does look like a door. So we're going to kind of just bail on out of here, and we're going to go into the spaces that stress my GPU out the most. So this is here on B deck. First class smoking. First class passengers doing first class smoky things. M&K Watson, 3 lads, tobacco. Exquisitely mellow. Smoking will make every your pipe special. I think that is definitely a misspelling there. And they're leaving a word out or two. Unless they were actually purposely spelled like that back in the day. So usually men of the gentlemanly sort would gather in here every night, have a brandy and have a smoke and just chatter about the world's woes.
I'm going to look up that 3 lads thingy.
Yeah, why don't you, man? Because that would be very interesting to find. Also, fun fact, this is the room where just before the ship went down that Thomas Andrews was alleged to have been seen, talked to by some first-class passengers. Standing right at this fireplace. One of which is also another fun fact. This is actually a real fireplace, one of two on the ship. Palm Court. Palmas Cordis. I mean, I'm being silly there, but yeah, Palm Court. But yeah, you can see why these rooms actually tend to put a lot of stress on a GPU, and I have a really good GPU. It's not a bad GPU at all. But you can see why they put a lot of stress in the rendering process. Yeah, it's interesting that they don't actually let you walk all the way down the B deck promenade, or the A deck promenade. Sorry. I do like these window panes.
Oh, the window panes, yeah. All I'm seeing is 3 nuns tobacco.
I'm wondering if they had to use a fictional product name. Quite possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's check out Thomas Andrews' room. Speaking of Thomas Andrews. So yeah, this is the cabin that he stayed in. I should know this cabin, but I don't. Anyway. You can see the blueprints on the bed.
Yep. Somebody was stressed out about something.
Rare Hunter says, quick question. Have you played GoldenEye 007 for Nintendo 64? I believe once when I actually went to a friend's house that actually had it. It seemed to be kind of a fun game, and that's where I also learned the existence of proximity mines being a thing. So technically yes, but have I played it religiously? Short answer is no. I didn't actually have a N64, come to think of it. And this is actually Father Brown's room, and that's his camera there. Without that camera, we might not actually have the additional photographs of Titanic without it. Unfortunately, this man got off in Queenstown, Ireland when he did. He was a cross-channel passenger crossing from Southampton to Queenstown, Ireland. Anyway. Now we're getting into the rooms that technically stress my computer out the most. We'll have to check out that staircase here in a little bit. But the creme de la creme The first class lounge that has that problem. And then suddenly the walls appear. You know, fun fact. This room from the Olympic was completely saved and is now found at the hotel in Alnwick, England. The Alnwick Hotel, I think. Yeah, they managed to save the entire first class lounge off the Olympic.
Was that before or after it sank?
The Olympic never sank. The Olympic saw a service life of 24 years and was scrapped in, I think, in 1934 or 35. So they saved they saved this interior from being scrapped.
Yeah.
And it looks fantastic. And the first class have a huge bookcase. I mean, literally, when you're spending 7 days at sea, you're going to be reading a lot of books and materials at that time just to pass the time. Because back then they didn't have game consoles, TVs, and cell phones. Not at all. One of those little cabinets.
This is interesting. I just looked up tobacco tins from Titanic. They actually had the White Star Line with the Titanic on the tin. I don't know if it's from that era or afterwards, though.
Or if it's like a reproduction with a product selling point.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't know because I don't smoke, so...
Well, neither do I.
And this light chandelier is probably one of my most favorite lighting fixtures on this entire ship. And that light chandelier from the Olympic was also saved. So they were able to save a lot of stuff from the Olympic. Unfortunately, this room on the Titanic is kind of in tatters.
Well, when you snap yourself in half, you know, something's bound to break.
Yep. The reading and writing room. This was generally the place where a lot of women in particular were kind of thought to go and read and write and relax in the evening, but turns out that right around this time period, you know, these places started becoming, so to speak, less popular with the ladies. So the reading and writing room on the Olympic in particular wasn't heavily used, as far as I understand anyway. As well as on some other ships. But, you know, this is kind of a turning point, you know, because more and more women started hanging out in places like the first class lounge, the smoking room even, you know. Because it was just kind of thought to be unsightly for ladies to be smoking. But, you know, 1912, good grief, everybody smoked. This little compartment here was actually eliminated from Britannic's. When you look at the deck plans, you know, this little compartment of the reading and writing room here was eliminated from Britannic's deck plans. And so they would have just had that. So what they would have put here in its place were cabins, first-class cabins, both here and that shade deck you see out there with the chairs. So that's what they would have actually changed there on the Britannic. Thought I'd gladly point that out. Hoorah. Rare Hunter says, I also find out that there was a movie where filmed at the capsize of the RMS Queen Mary at Hong Kong. The movie was called The Man with Two Golden Guns, 007 of 1974. Never actually seen that movie, which is weird. I've seen some James Bond films, but I've never seen that particular one. 007, the Golden Gun? Okay, that's
the Man with the Golden Gun. That might be it.
Yeah, The Man with the Golden Gun is the name of the movie. It's a 007 flick.
It sounds like it's a Dr. No thing.
So what he's trying to say is that movie was filmed at the location where the RMS Queen Elizabeth capsized. Anyway. We're here at the Grand Staircase. Probably one of the most well-known staircases on any ship in the world. So, just for reference, there are no known actual photographs of this Grand Staircase. All the photographs of, and I say in air quotes, of Titanic's Grand Staircase actually are of Olympics staircase. Not many photographs were taken of Titanic, in part because Titanic just wasn't around for very long. And interestingly enough, you know, for as long as Olympic was around, there's a lot of photos not taken of her either. Oh, and pineapples.
Yeah. That one don't look like a pineapple, though.
It is. It just looks like it's pineapple springing up from the plant. But it's a pineapple. You want to cut it up? You might get some wood in your diet, you know, but hey.
I think it'd be a little bit hard to digest, let alone chew.
Yeah, just a little hard. So these are the elevators here on A deck, and this is actually essentially the top of the elevators here on A deck. On Britannic, they went all the way up to boat deck. Okay, so there was a thing you wanted to tell me, and you would reveal that information once I got to the Marconi room, so
yep.
Let's get there right now so we can lend you the floor.
Let me go and see if I can find that post. Because I got to read it word for word from what Eric's put.
Gotta close the door. Gotta get all intimate in here. So we are in the radio room. So this is actually the place where all the action took place the night the Titanic sank, when two Marconi operators sent out messages of distress that the ship was sinking.
Now, when they sent that distress, the letters they typed were CQD 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times that they have struck an iceberg We are badly damaged. The Titanic position is 41 degrees, 44 minutes north, 50 degrees, 20 minutes west. And this is from Cape Hatteras National Seashore. And they were it's in the United States, and they were able to capture this distress call. The Hatteras is the only known wireless station in the United States to have received the first distress call from RMS Titanic. Record of this transmission was lost to history for almost 100 years, 98 years to be exact, and was only discovered in 2009 during a restoration project when it was found rolled up in the wall as insulation. The Hatteras Weather Bureau station, built in 1901, is open to visitations today. So they were able to capture the distress signal coming from Titanic.
Interesting.
Moments after they hit the iceberg.
I did not know that. And Cape Hatteras was a lot further away than Cape Race, which is in Newfoundland, and they received the signal too. So that actually goes to the point of just how powerful Titanic's radio system actually was, because they were also, to hark on the point, able to contact a lot of ships that were actually quite far away, including her sister ship, the Olympic, that was about 500 nautical miles away. That is very much, frankly, amazing. So they were in communications with not only the hero ship of the night, the Carpathia, but they were in contact with several other ships, Cape Race, and apparently Cape Hatteras. I just now learned that fact just now. And
I just learned it when this afternoon when he posted that. I'm like, really?
That tells you how absolutely clear the weather was around the region where Titanic was. They had no storm interference, so they were able to get the signal out that far. Yeah. Is absolutely amazing. So, you gotta give a lot of credit to Jack Phillips and Harold Bride, the Marconi radio operators, for busting out the signals that way. And
the CQC was the very first type of distress call. Okay, so wasn't the Titanic disaster the beginning of the use of SOS versus CQD? And Eric says yes.
So this is how they were able to adjust the frequencies and the power of the radio here, and obviously there. Nothing behind the door. Oh, by the way, and this is their signal contact cross chart here. Communications chart. Marconi Telegraph.
So CQD stands for Come Quick Danger.
Where like SOS was adopted just a few years before, so it was a brand new signal. And those are the tap things that they use to tap out their messages. Morse code tap thingies. Mark, I hope you know what these are. Please tell me. Or anybody.
Hold on. What are you looking at?
These things. Yeah, the things that they actually use to tap.
That's your telegraph.
Telegraph things, yeah. Oh, yeah. And there's another thing here too. There's a potato up that pipe.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I'll take your
Yeah.
word for it. My screen's a little dirty.
Yeah, somebody shoved a potato up that pipe.
Now there's no way of contacting the upper decks.
Headset. The radio frequency tuners and all that stuff. And so, when you go up to the top, since we're on the night level, you won't be able to see it. Mark said, telegraph keys. Yes, Mark, you get a cookie. Telegraph keys. Oh, jeez, I'm an idiot. I should have known that.
Well, I did say telegraph.
Yes, you were right. You get a cookie too. So,
I'll take
from
a
this
check on it.
from this point forward, officers' quarters all the way up to the bridge. Captain's quarters would be on the other side. So, Captain Smith was on the bridge, or actually in his quarters, when the ship hit the iceberg. And he was out there immediately after the fact. And yes, these are the telephones here on the bridge. Can you imagine being here? Right here, you imagine you're First Officer William Murdoch, right? You peer out, you stand on this side of the ship's bridge, and you peer out, you see an iceberg out in front of you. You run back, you see Quartermaster Hitchens standing right there, and you shout hard to starboard. So Rare Hunter says, quick question, is RMS stand for Royal Mail Service, am I right? Yes, actually you are correct. Royal Mail Service. So technically the ship, mini ship, well, all the ships would have just simply had the title SS, which just means steamship. And that would also apply to the Titanic as well. Just like that, you can actually see that I have zoomed in on the lifeboats, and right there it says SS Titanic. So the Royal Mail, the RMS name, the RMS is a title, the prestigious title that was actually awarded by the Royal Mail Service to certain ships that had won contracts with them. So those ships were then responsible for transporting mail across the Atlantic to the United States or wherever they were going. SS Titanic.
Yeah, I accidentally pressed the exit button on my mouse.
Did you exit out of Discord?
Yep. Well, out of this channel.
Oh, so you missed half of what I just said then.
No. I caught the what RMS stood for.
So I was just quickly going over what William Murdoch would have seen the night the Titanic hit the iceberg. So it said that he was actually standing on this side of the bridge, on the starboard side of the bridge. And so he was providing a lookout along with Reginald Glee and Frederick Fleet up there in the crow's nest. And so given their higher position, it was actually harder for them to see the iceberg right away because they were looking down more at the water, whereas down here on the bridge level, Murdoch has a very good view of of the horizon, effectively. So he was actually able to see the iceberg more quickly than the lookouts did.
Problem is,
So-
he needed to see at least another 1.5 minutes sooner than what he did.
It was very dark.
Yeah.
And if I remember right, the binoculars that he needed got left in Southampton. I think that could be false, but don't take my word on that. So anyway, he did see it, because up here on the bridge, bridge officers, providing lookout at night, these bridge lights actually would be off, because all of the sailors would need to be able to see everything that's out in front of them on a night like this, or any night really. So he sees the iceberg, he runs back in, sees Quartermaster Hitchens right here at the wheel, tells him hard to starboard, and it's right about that time that supposedly the phones rang, because that's the lookouts calling in the bridge. They saw the iceberg too eventually. Sixth Officer Moody answered the phone. The exchange of conversation was iceberg right ahead. Then Moody he gives them a polite thank you. Actually, no, it was. Let me double check that.
I think it was a no, Sherlock.
Was it Sixth Officer Moody? Now I'm all conflicted in my head. I don't think it was Lightaller, because Lightaller was somewhere else on the ship. What? I think, and it wasn't Low. I think it was Moody that answered the phone. Sixth Officer Moody. I will have to double check that information, so take that information with a grain of sand as well, please. I don't want to lead anybody astray. Elevator machinery. Oh, and potato.
Yep.
Potato.
Visually identified.
Yeah. So this is the elevator room. So on the Titanic, this room would have actually been all the way up onto the roof, because they brought the elevators up to this level here on boat deck. Botus Decus. So we're finally going to stroll down and take a look at some of the passenger cabins. I know we're going a bit long on the stream here. Mark says the key to the binoculars cabinet was left in Southampton. Yeah. That was it right there. The binocular.
What was
the keys to the cabinet?
Officer's name that answered the phone?
I think it was Moody.
James
Moody.
James asked, "What did you see?" And the reply from Lookout said, "Iceberg right ahead."
Then he gives him a polite thank you. That was fairly typical of British society,
Yep.
given the gravity of the situation that was about to occur. You can walk into this bathroom here, and you have legitimate urinals too. Interesting. So these were definitely like time flush. Oh no, they just had a valve right there. You just crank and you flush the urinals. You had an extra toilet seat. You had the sinks. You have the toilet that looks like it has no water in it. Now that view is all too familiar to any of us. Rare Hunter says, it's been fun, but I have to go charge my phone. Sorry, I wish to say longer. Happy 110th year anniversary to the good people who lost their lives that night. Well, thank you, Rare Hunter, for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the stream. Feel free to watch it at any time, as it will also be a VOD on this channel as well, so you can video on demand. So you can watch it anytime at your leisure. So this sign says, White Star Line, special notice to passengers. It is respectfully requested that passengers refrain from throwing into the pan any substance likely to choke the pipes or prevent a proper flow of water. Otherwise, serious discomfort to the passengers themselves may be caused, and the closet rendered both disagreeable and useless. Passengers are earnestly desired to flush the pan before leaving. Indeed. I'm not going to get into any disgusting details, but I can't tell you how many unflushed pans I've seen in my time. Supposedly, in an update, according to Kyle Hudak, one of the game's main programmers, we'll actually see this room and the adjacent room furnished. Alright, so nothing actually too much down here other than just those 3 rooms you can walk into. So we's gonna go down to B deck.
No, I don't want to. Can't make me.
Can't make me go down to B deck. So this is one of the private promenades here. Just that. This was, I believe, attached to Ismay's room, which is B52, 54, 56. Yep. So as far as I know, really nothing on this side, just cabins upon cabins upon cabins upon cabins upon cabins upon cabins.
The cabinator.
I like what Mark says. He says, no objects foreign or domestic in the toilet. That's pretty good.
Hello, sir.
Well, good evening.
Oh, hey. Is that Eric's popping in?
Good evening, everybody.
That is a good commander, Eric's.
I
Ah,
do believe
yes.
we have a calm ocean tonight. No impending dangers ahead. Smooth sailing.
Unfortunately, there's an iceberg hidden underneath the sea.
Welcome to the show, Eric's. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. So,
We're
yeah,
live.
you're
Just heads up.
you're still broadcasting. Okay.
I'm still
I
broadcasting,
figured
but
I'd put that out before that the throw out.
well, you're always welcome on this stream, man. So it's absolutely no issue here.
Jeez, it's really dark down the hallway there.
Oh,
Yeah.
you should see the mess that's still happening up in the smoking lounge.
Mm.
Yep.
So, is this the updated version already, or not?
This is the most up-to-date version they have. This is, I think, 1.4.2.
Okay, so what was the big update? I didn't watch the live. I didn't watch their update. So, was it any engine rooms or something, or?
So what they're doing is that they're adding in access into the coal bunkers, access into the firemen's stairwells, the spiral stairwells from the boiler rooms up to what I would call the living quarters of the stokers, basically.
Uh-huh.
And they're adding in access to boiler room 5. They are adding in access to the coal bunkers. And they're adding in access to something else. I'm not sure I completely understand what it is, but they're adding in stuff in that regard.
Okay. Looks like they've done things to the lighting. It looks way more dark. Well, it's nighttime outside, but still in the cabins. Maybe it's just my phone, but the lighting looks way darn. Yeah.
Also, it's the lens flare effect, too, that they have in this game. Like, it does look pretty dark in here.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, this has white paint, so it should be able to bounce the light off the walls pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just going through third class, second class, and now, as you can see, we're in first class. That's me being a gentleman, closing the door behind me, you know. Right?
Planned it. That's just me.
Okay, Eric's. The night the Titanic sank.
Right.
Was it
110 years ago tonight.
Indeed. So who was it when Frederick Fleet called the bridge? Who was it that answered? Was it Moody?
Oh, shoot.
I looked it up on Google.
Yeah, I think so. It might have been. Top of my head, don't know. Moody might have been the one that answered the phone call. By that time, Murdoch already saw it and ran into the bridge.
Yeah. And so I agree with Dan. It had to be Moody, because Lightoller wasn't on the bridge at the time. Robert Lowe, I think he was actually sleeping, supposedly. Smith was just going into he had just gone into his quarters to retire for the night. But basically, that's a process of elimination. Chief Officer Wild, I think, was somewhere else on the ship, too.
Yeah.
So I think that it was Moody, because he was on shift at that time.
Yeah, it would be about right then.
Yeah. Yep, because we all know where Murdoch was.
Yeah, standing out there.
Standing out there in the cold, freezing his backside off just like everybody else, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm looking for the one room I could actually get into. This is on a B deck. There's a couple of first class cabins that can now actually be accessed without having to fall through the floor.
Huh.
The real reason Titanic sank, ladies and gentlemen. No floors in certain cabins. No, not there. This is bathrooms. So they're basically they're not kidding at all when they say that Titanic's cabins were kind of a maze.
Oh, especially when you get down into third class, stuff like that, yeah. I mean, first class is pretty length of the ship, 2 long hallways, and then intersecting corridors in the middle where the bathrooms were. So it's not too bad.
Oh, you can't even go through there. Oh, hey, you can go in here.
Well, that's the elevator.
Yep. So basically the hypothesis was, and Dan just read out the post you had made on the stream here. I did not know that Cape Hatteras actually was in, or could read Titanic at all.
Right, yeah, I didn't know that, and I saw that post today and shared it and was like, wow, amazing. And then they stuck it in the wall and forgot about it.
Wow, yeah. I mean, that tells you just how powerful Titanic's radio was.
Well,
fact-
the ionosphere was just right that night too, to bounce
true.
that signal and get it over there. I mean, they were already talking with Cape Race, but
Mhm.
that's not. Cape Race isn't in Canada, so
It is. It is Canada. It was a lot closer than Hatteras.
yeah. But I just like that woodwork on that thing. That's beautiful. Mm.
Names, 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 names. More names.
Interesting
Names.
how the font changes. One
Yeah.
looks bold and one doesn't.
Yeah.
Somebody's got a heavy hand.
Cabin
Actually-
B1, B20, B22. Stein. Jeez.
I'll
Stein?
have to take
Millenstein.
That's
Habib
German.
Longworth von
Von Millenstein.
Millenstein. Zimmerman.
Geheimraten. God, jeez, what a name. Geheimraten A. von Millenstein, B25.
Oh, that's von Millerstein.
Yeah.
Von, ja.
And then there's von Bergermann, Professor Dr. Tobias von Bergermann.
You know, we are probably going to get haunted tonight for pronouncing some of these names.
Yeah. Right.
Just a heads up.
Dietzer, Mr. Ross Jacob Dietzer, Miss William Chow.
Chow, Chinese or probably Chinese American.
Mr. Eric A. Whaley, probably Whaley.
Mm-hmm.
That's a Whaley.
Popak, Wolf, Onhoffner. So there's a lot of German names in here.
Yeah.
So I thought that
Ticket.
this book would,
Okay. Mhm.
would contain like the Titanic Honor and Glory Guarantee Group names.
Oh, that's right. You get your name. Yeah. I wonder if these are. I don't know if these are actual passengers or actually people that have donated to the game. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because they got a ticket number and everything. Mr.
I mean,
Spencer.
it's really easy to look up. Look up one of those names real quick on Google and, under Titanic people. And if that doesn't come up, then you know that these are the guarantee group that have donated.
I'll have to do that off stream, but that's interesting. I knew that the book that's similar down up in the a la carte restaurant actually had names of the guarantee group.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm.
Can't get in there. Look at the grand staircase. Look how dark it is going up, though.
Yeah, from this distance, I wonder if that's just the way they designed it, or thinking maybe that really would be. I don't think it would be that. Well, the lights, they're just not that bright. I don't know. I don't think it was that. I think that's just the game.
Right. I mean, it's just weird that they toned down the lighting as much as they did. So anyway.
There is
Yeah.
a passenger list.
That is a passenger list. Okay.
Hold on. What level are you on, Tony?
B
Are
deck.
you on first, second, or third?
First.
First deck. Okay.
Well, supposedly that's a first. Yeah, that's first class. B29. B. Yeah. Their cabin was in first class.
Oh. Shit, this is C deck.
Well, this is C deck, but the passenger list he's looking at is a B.
Yeah, these would
the
be
B
the
deck cabins.
Yep.
Okay, let it clean up.
Yeah, it's all
and
blurry.
look at- yeah. It's all pixelated on my end. Hold on. Beck. No, it's Beckworth or with Beckwith, Miss Sally Beckwith.
B15 or B. 16s is Mullins. That's an Irish name.
Mr.
B19 Lancaluti. If I'm pronouncing that right.
Adams. I'm gonna look up Adams.
B1 is Billingham. That's another Irish name. So there were some Irish first class passengers on board. I knew that. Oh, I don't want that. So let's quickly go and look for those cabins that are in these cross sections here. I think they just have open doors. Linen closet. Telltale signs of a linen closet. Ah, right here.
A lot of Carters on this list.
Look how dark it is in these rooms.
Is there? But that's the only light they've got. Do they have a light above them on the ceiling?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So it shouldn't be that dark. It's no. I don't know. I mean, the light bulbs were not. 60-watt bulbs are so much brighter today than they were back then.
It's entirely
Light bulbs
possible
were
that
still experimental at that time too.
Oh yeah, gosh, and I have a 1903 light bulb at our museum, and even at full power, it's dim compared to the Edison remake bulbs that Lowe's sells. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So they probably do have. Go ahead.
That James Cameron film just, ruins your perception because they pumped really bright lights in there. So
Yeah, I do remember James Cameron specifically making a comment about the dinner scene, right? They had to flood the dining room that they had built with light just so they could get people to show up on camera,
Yeah, so the ceiling lights are bright, and then they shine so much light through those porthole windows. So those windows are way too illuminated.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, well, this game is they're trying to get the fire.
The feel.
Fire hose.
Yeah, they're trying to get the feel of what the lighting was back in 1912. We might as well just go check out the Strauss sitting room too, which is not here. It's on the other side. Hello. Not there either.
Hey Tony, you might want to flick on your GPS.
How many drinks have you had in that smoking room? You can't even find your own cabin.
A lot. Now leave me alone.
Too much and not enough.
Ah, the drawing room.
So, when it comes to Titanic and first class passenger accommodations, this room right here is what a lot of people think of when it comes to
First class accommodation.
First class accommodations, and it's like,
Yep.
No, most of the rooms were not gilded like this.
Only like 2 rooms.
Yeah,
in the whole
literally.
ship.
Britannic would have had 3.
Yeah. Look how dark that, especially at night. That mahogany paneling is so dark. It soaks up the light.
It does. It really does. Anything dark like that will do it. But it's like to create an environment, though. I love the wall sconces.
Yeah.
I told him he can get one. He just has to go down 3 miles.
Oh, I'm sure there's replicas out there.
Yeah.
the real thing.
You can get a replica of the first class cherub on the grand staircase, and you can get a replica. It's thousands of dollars. This guy makes it out of hand carved wood. The honor and glory crowning time grand staircase clock for your wall.
Yeah.
Full size replica.
Couple thousand bucks.
A couple thousand. Yep.
Oh,
Can't tell
by
me
the
you
way,
can afford it.
I wish. And your personal bathroom, which is a very rare thing on ships like this.
Your own bathroom. Yeah.
Although I think this one was shared because that's another cabin over there.
That might be access to the your servant, because I think
Servant quarter.
Yeah, his servant got to be right next door to him, while all the other servants or people you brought on, they were down in third class or crew area.
So he did have his own personal manservant.
Yeah, he brought that along with. I believe
Wow.
in the first demo, the little tokens in front of the door.
Yeah.
The token on the door next one down actually said the name of the guy, his manservant. Yeah. Down into the reception room.
Look at how dark even this room is. So if they got
see
the
those
lighting
windows.
accurate-
There's
Go ahead.
not almost any light coming through those windows. Yet we know there's light bulbs behind them.
Yep.
And they
Matter
should
of
be
fact,
on. They are
they-
on. There's that window that's open.
Yeah, they courteously gave us one window that's open here.
Yeah, but wow. See, that's really cool because what they used back then for light bulbs, because we didn't have fluorescent bulbs back then. So those are, they're display case kind of bulbs, long hot dog shape with one filament running down the length.
Mm-hmm. Light bulbs, or as we understand them, as tube bulbs these days.
Two bulbs, yeah. But not very bright because you can see the other windows aren't really glowing.
Yeah.
That's
A beautiful Steinway grand piano right here.
one of 5 on board.
Yep. Thing I like
Well,
about
you
this... Go ahead.
You can kind of see through the stained glass when you're walking, the light bulbs. So as you walked, you can see them? Top
Yep.
and bottom corners? Yeah, look at that. That's something different. That's something new. I've not seen that before. That's cool.
Walking into the plants, of which there are plenty.
Mind
But
the
then, like,
plant.
But this is exceptionally bright right here around the candelabra.
Oh, yeah. All that light being directed right at the ceiling there, yeah.
Yep.
You can get a replica of that, too. The game was making 3D prints of those. They didn't light up, but I was thinking of getting one, too.
I would like to have one. I just don't have the money for it.
Well, if I get one, I want it to light up.
Hold on a sec. I don't want the James Cameron 97 movie album playing in the background here because this stream will just get muted. So I was just telling Dan this, and I'll tell you. So out of all of the dining rooms, the second class dining room is my favorite.
Huh, really?
Yeah, I mean, while this is a lot more opulent and a lot more of a sterile environment, but I think that the wood paneling in the second class dining room makes all the difference.
Yeah,
it-
it has a different feel, that's for sure. Well, geez, these tables have posts right in the middle, so if you sat in the wrong place, you couldn't see the guy on the other side of the table.
You just move the chairs just a little bit.
I guess. I am first class. Do you know who I am? I do not move my chair a little bit to see across. How rude.
You just talk at your guests right through the post. I guess that's the way it's meant to be.
You know, that's why they call it the postman.
Oh, haha.
Imagine sitting here at this table and you sit down. Granted, I'm a little low because that napkin in front of me shouldn't be a mountain in front of my face, but you know.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean Mount Everest?
Yep.
It was interesting to find out that the center of the dining room on Olympic in the 20s got to be a dance floor.
Oh, yeah. I remember
They took all the tables out. That big table was missing.
Yep.
I think that's the captain's table right there. That's like the top table.
I believe that this table was actually used in the dining room scene on James Cameron's Titanic movie.
Yeah, that's the big one. Yeah, they're all sitting there. Mm-hmm.
Yep. They had poor Captain Smith sitting somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, if it wasn't being used, it was free.
Yep. I mean, I'm assuming that the captain basically could sit wherever he wanted, you know.
Well, he got invited to sit at table, I think, too. You know, come sit at our table and. Are those lights above the centerpiece there? No, not there. Center of the room. Go back. Look to your left.
Look left.
Look up. See those? That line of white? Is that a light up there?
No, I'd say it's just a lighting flaw.
Oh, yeah. It's like that looks really weird.
The ceiling's raised a little bit high.
Ah, yeah.
Either that or the texture wasn't put in yet.
Someone forgot the crown molding.
See that.
Or either that is just straight up painted wall. Kind of looks like it because you can see the dimensions of it.
No, I don't know. That looks something looks off. I don't think they would have done that like that because it doesn't match anywhere. Well, does it match anywhere else in there? It goes all the way to the back though, so maybe.
Very interesting. I wish I could question one of the devs on the issue. Lovely piano. So I was also explaining to Dan too that each of these dining rooms also would have seen church services on Sundays.
That would have been this morning. Yep.
It did see church service on the one Sunday morning that the Titanic sailed.
That must be intentional because this side also has that white strip all the way around.
So did the Titanic sink on a Monday?
Technically, it did.
Sunday night, Monday morning. 2:20 a.m., you know, so 11:40 to 2:20 a.m. It was Monday, April 15th.
Looking at the clock, the Titanic would have just gone down a few minutes ago.
Yeah, it's, what is it? 10:42. Well, yeah, and Titanic time is 10:43. So I thought it would be 11:20 Mountain Time. Puts it roughly 2:20 a.m. Atlantic East Coast time because they were very close to Eastern time, but not exactly in it. They were still, yeah. So, yeah.
So they were still operating off of ship's time, which is solar noon.
Solar noon, okay.
Yeah, because when they're out at sea, you know, they adjusted the clocks based on what solar noon was. Fun fact,
international time, right?
What's that?
International time. Anytime you're away from main,
Yeah.
international time.
This
Go
is-
back a bit. Sorry.
Go ahead, Erics.
Look to your right. Down that hallway. To your left. Yeah, the hallway to your left. Look up. Oh, look up. Look back. I think you went underneath it. I think there was a sign. That sign say? Oh, there's no sign. I swear you looked down right there, ladies.
there.
So there was a restroom then, right down that hallway, which would have been easy access from the reception room. Then that would have been your restrooms,
Mm-hmm.
plus
One
your
further-
cabin restrooms.
One further down would be gentlemen's.
Yeah. So those are the bathrooms for those cabins, but also, I guess if you had to go during dinner, the closest bathroom would be then back behind the staircase into that lobby room and into there, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Since we're
I never
down here,
something you never think about. You go to the dining room and where are the bathrooms? We go to a restaurant, where are the restrooms? So
yeah.
they would have been, I guess, back there.
I'm thinking up on C deck. These doors are open here. We didn't go check those out, but we will pretty shortly. Let's see, more steward and gentleman's lavatory is here.
Be careful, Tony. You just about crashed yourself.
The computer's been performing great since the restart. Yeah, the game crashed on me the first few times, first half of the stream. So this is on E deck. This would lead to second class accommodations here beyond the Bostwick Gate.
So that's, yeah, because that's first, that's gonna be second. Down to the mailroom and the squash court.
Yeah, we don't want to go near the squash court.
Oh, crashes down there.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
and they got texture problems too.
Well, there's the mailroom. Any water in there yet? Oh,
Nah. Nope.
Lightly damp.
I am looking forward to seeing how they do the water and the sinking in the game. That's, I'm really, yeah. I wish they would release more little. I wish they would release more video and stuff
Mm-hmm. Make
on
it,
the sinking.
yeah, make it more consistent releases. So this is a lift shaft right here for the mail. So since this room was like literally one of the first rooms on the Titanic that got flooded, besides the forepeak and boiler room 6, water would just rush right up this thing.
Are you hungry? Is that it?
Wer haben Sie is my door.
Now, does that mail shaft run all the way up and all the way down the through the decks?
No, just these 2 levels alone. Just this floor and the
Oh, hold
floor
up
down
to
below.
the-
Yep. It looks like just a luggage hold.
Cargo hold.
Stood on that treasure, on that chest right here. Ooh, I'm standing on somebody's chest. Because my head's right up to the ceiling there.
Wow, Tony standing on someone's chest. Woo.
Oh my.
You can somewhat hear the boiler room.
Yep. Yeah, boiler room is basically separated by that wall right there. Eric, do you have any access to deck plans or anything?
Not with me. Not right now.
Ah, okay. I was asking for like future reference too, if I might be able to take a look at them if I don't have my own. So.
Oh yeah, I do have some fold out deck plans with my Titanic stuff. But like I said, they're not. I have to. I mean, gosh, everything's online these days. You can just Google blueprints and get some.
That's true.
But yeah, I've got a little printout too of all the decks. In one of my books here, I stuffed it in as a bookmarker kind of thing, but and that'll take you right back in the reception room.
What sucks is we only have the only reference thing that we actually have to this particular room is James Cameron's dive footage.
Yeah, because he was in there, yeah.
Yep. These
I guess there's no photos.
I mean, these doors here, well, I mean, they're down there still, you know. I wonder what condition they would be in since James actually went down there and explored this room. If basically if they're just completely gone at this point, and the metal grills or whatever you want to call them, those things in the glass there,
yeah,
would just be on the floor now, and the wood's just gone.
Yeah, possibly, because I remember him going through those doors into the dining room, and he'd replicated in the movie what he found down there. So, but that was back in '90s. Yeah.
Yep. Warp speed, Mr. Sulu.
Yeah, see a first class cabin. Simple.
Yep. Yet this particular one was pretty spacious.
Yeah, this one here, and almost there's, down this level first class. Gosh, you're not too far away from the second class style accommodations here.
No. You're definitely not. Wish I could look out this window here, because you could see.
You can see stars.
See some stars. Oh, I know where you are. That's forward. That's the mast. That's the bow out there.
Yep.
Yeah, that is the
bow.
Okay,
I know where you are on the. Yeah, you're the very last portholes on the forward well deck there. Those are big portholes. Some of them are really big. Some of them are smaller. And that right to your right there, you could see that was the crane, cargo crane. Yep.
You can see just a little bit of the crow's nest up there too.
Just a hint.
Yep.
Poor Frederick Fleet and Reginald Glee. They had to spot
back then
that
they
thing.
didn't put a cover even over them. At least on the Queen Mary, they got a roof over their head a little bit to protect them from the rain and stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, I think we're gonna conclude the stream here because we've explored every nook and cranny of this ship, and get to the thing that you wanted to talk to us about. So.
Oh yeah. Before I finally go to bed.
Oh, and pineapples.
Pineapple.
Anyway.
Yep.
Pineapples. Pineapples. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that will conclude it here. We'll leave you the image of that lovely pineapple right there. And thank you for joining us. That will conclude it for the stream. So my name is Tony Ortega. I'm with Eric Scarsfo and Mr. Dan Ward. Hey, guys, have a great night. Be safe out there. Stay warm.